Pisces Risings 2023, more than any other sign, is really a year of maturing and growing up, as well as getting a hold of financially maturing and financially getting things together for your support as well. If you're excited to get into what 2023 holds in store for your rising sign, which is so crazy for me to be saying, I remember being like 2019 yearly forecasts and knowing that no one was going to watch them, but I just did them for me. So it's big. I'm very thankful to be here today, so thank you guys, because I'm here because of you. But anyway, if you're excited to get into your 2023 forecast for your rising sign, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. So I'm going to start out by looking at the 4 main themes happening for you this year. Then we're going to get into the tarot card for you, and then we're going to look at the nitty-gritty as well. So firstly, the major theme for you is this Taurus pileup happening in your 3rd house this spring. This is a disruptive yet positive new beginning around communication or writing projects that you might be taking part in. Secondly, is Pluto entering your Aquarius 12th house. Pluto will be providing a preview of its 20-year transit in your 12th house of mental health or spirituality briefly this spring. So there's a preview of the massive mental or spiritual changes you will be going through. Thirdly, and most importantly for you, is that Saturn is entering your Pisces 1st house. This is a 3-year transit of maturity, of growing up, and of taking on more personal responsibility, even if it's very serious. Finally, for the second half of the year, we will have the North Node of increase in your Aries 2nd house of income, and the South Node of decrease or letting go in your Libra 8th house of investments or other financial assets. Like you might be making more money and letting go of owing others money, letting go of debts, letting go of loans, and letting go of investing as much. The tarot card that we have for Pisces Risings this month is the Emperor, which in this Trading View deck is Papa Elon, which is a joke because I can't find my Rider-Waite deck, so this does show Papa Elon card, but it's the Emperor. This is about being in control and being a fiery force to be reckoned with. You are the Emperor. With Saturn entering your 1st house, this is a big year of like, I'm gonna grow up, put my foot down, and speak what I need to be heard, versus a more passive year. This is not that. We start off this year on a bang. January is an all systems go month, specifically around home and around social life for you. So on the 12th, Mars retrograde is over, and Mars will station direct in your Gemini 4th house. Mars retrograde is a rethinking and having to go back or fix or redo or rework some conflict. For you, it was in your 4th house of family and living situation. So those may have been things that you were having to struggle or redo or rework. That is over, and you're now enforcing or solving the challenges rather than having to go back and rethink them. On the 18th, Mercury retrograde is over, and Mercury goes direct in your Capricorn 11th house of networking, friends, and socializing. So communicating and being more extroverted will be easier. And on the 22nd, Uranus goes direct in your Taurus 3rd house, showing moving forward with sudden changes, adjustments, and innovation of a writing project or communication or productivity in your life. February is not that big of a month, but March specifically for you is a month of some major wins, major changes, and some major confusion, specifically around your identity and your money. So from the 1st to the 2nd, Venus will conjoin Jupiter in your Aries 2nd house. Venus and Jupiter together is ultimate abundance. This is in your 2nd house of finances and money. Looks like a great financial start to the month, to say the least. And with Mercury conjunct Saturn in your 12th house, there might be some serious spiritual or mental health related implications of this that are positive, but there's a serious reason why you might be making more money right now. On the 7th, Saturn enters your Pisces 1st house. This is the big transit of seriousness and of responsibility and of more on your shoulders that will last 3 years, and it begins this March. On the 12th, Jupiter will conjoin Chiron in your Aries 2nd house. Jupiter expands, and Chiron represents vulnerability or healing. So you might be making money in a way that is personal or deeply emotional for you, and that is coming up this March. From the 13th to the 14th, Mars in your 4th house will square Neptune in your 1st house, showing that there's some conflict at home due to or involving you not being upfront or clear. And there continues to be a dynamic of conflict from the 15th to the 17th with a ton in your 1st house, showing you are really the main character. You are much of the focus of this March. But with Mars in your 4th house, there's some there's some conflict at home as a result of the attention that you're getting. Now on the 23rd, Pluto enters your Aquarius 12th house. Pluto will briefly enter Aquarius and provide a preview of the more large-scale mental health or spiritual transformation that will be occurring over the next few decades. It stays there for about 20 years. There's a brief preview of the focus of this during these next few spring months. On the 25th, finally, after 7 long months, Mars will leave your Gemini 4th house and move into your Cancer 5th house. So Mars in the 4th house for 7 months has shown conflict, more challenge, and more fighting around home and family matters. With it finally leaving and entering your Cancer 5th house, the challenges move into your romantic and creative sector. This is preferred simply due to the fact that it will not be there for 7 months. It will only be there for a few weeks. So home and family life gets a major break. And on the 28th, Mercury conjoins Jupiter in your Aries 2nd house. This looks like some more great financial news. And on the 30th to the 31st, Venus will conjoin Uranus in your Taurus 3rd house, showing surprising or out of nowhere amazing communication or writing developments that are really positive for you. April continues to be filled with optimism and confidence, specifically around finances for you. So from the 11th to the 12th, the Sun will conjoin Jupiter in your Aries 2nd house. This is great for more awareness or opportunities around financial abundance. And on the 20th, there is a total solar eclipse in your Aries 2nd house. Solar eclipses are huge catalyst events towards a new beginning, and for you it's in your 2nd house of finances and income. So it looks like a new income stream, a new way of making money. And on the 21st, Mercury will station retrograde in your Taurus 3rd house of communication and productivity. Looks like the 21st onward, you might be having to revise or rethink a communication or content-related project. May is a month of some foundational new beginnings, specifically around this writing project or communication project or new routine or commuting. So on the 5th, there is a lunar eclipse in your Scorpio 9th house. Lunar eclipses are endings or chapters ending that will spread out over the next 6 months because they're so substantial. For you, it's in your 9th house of foreign travel or higher education or beliefs that may be ending a chapter there. Now, from the 14th to the 21st, there's a background transit of Jupiter in your 3rd house squaring Pluto in your 12th house. This shows that the developments around writing or the growth of something communication that you're working on is helping that mental health or inward transformation that is occurring. On the 14th, Mercury retrograde is over and Mercury stations direct in your 3rd house of writing and productivity, showing that the project that you were working on that may have had some struggles is now moving forward more clearly. And on the 16th, Jupiter firmly enters your Taurus 3rd house, showing the growth of your personal voice, your writing, or your productivity skyrocketing. And there's a lovely new moon in Taurus happening on the 19th in your 3rd house with the moon, Uranus, North Node, Jupiter, Sun. Like there's a ton of growth-oriented positive energy in your 3rd house, showing something is taking off writing, content, or productivity-wise for you. June has a bang to start off as well, but it then slows down, particularly around what you're creating and also your identity. So on the 1st, Jupiter joins the North Node in your 3rd house. This continues on this huge, successful, driven energy. And on the 11th, we begin to slow down as Pluto retrograde re-enters your Capricorn 11th house. So after the preview of a mental health transformation, you're now moving more forward into a social transformation that has been taking place and you're finishing up over the next few months. On the 17th, Saturn stations retrograde in your 1st house. Saturn is a planet of boundaries and challenge. With it going retrograde, you're rethinking the commitments, the responsibilities, and what you're taking on responsibility-wise over the next few months. It could also be a much more introverted few months. On the 18th to the 24th, there's another background transit of Jupiter in your 3rd house, sextiling Saturn in your 1st house. So the writing project or productivity and what you're creating is allowing for more opportunities around what you're taking on responsibility-wise to be very positive, almost like the things on your shoulders are being supportive because of what you're building and what you're showing. From the 25th to the 27th, Mars in your 6th house will square Uranus in your 3rd house. You might be having some health or some issues with coworkers, some physical health issues or some issues in the workplace because of the volatility of your schedule and how much you're creating or writing. And on the 30th, Neptune is stationing retrograde in your Pisces first house. So you are rethinking your goals, your dreams, and your ideals around your self-image. July is a turning point of reconsideration, specifically financially for you, as the north node of increase enters your Aries second house, and the south node of letting go or decrease enters your 8th house of loans, debts, or investments on the 17th. So from now onward, in the second half of the year, there's much more focus on earning income and making direct money rather than anything complicated or anything where you're owing someone else money. In fact, you might be paying off debts or not taking out loans. On the 19th to the 21st, Mars in your 7th house will oppose Saturn in your 1st house. This is big energy around fighting with someone because of the aggression they're having and you're drawing a boundary. So you might be fighting with a significant other. And from the 21st to the 22nd, the Sun in your 5th house will oppose Pluto in your 11th house. This is energy where you might be manipulated romantically due to friends. You might be having some issues romantically because friends are pressuring you in a certain way. Then on the 22nd, Venus stations retrograde in your Leo 6th house. Venus is values, harmony, and appreciation. With it going retrograde, you're rethinking values and what you appreciate or what you really want to have important to you in your 6th house of physical health measures like diet, exercise, or cures or support for health issues, and also coworkers. You're rethinking your values or what you want to really appreciate and have in this area of your life. And from the 23rd to the 25th, Pluto will be at the exact 90-degree bending of the nodes. So when planets are 90 degrees from the north or the south node, they're said to be an important missing piece or turning point that is vital to remember. So with Pluto in your 11th house, transforming your social connections or groups of people that you are connected to will be the important missing piece in order to, with the north node in your 2nd, make more money, and with the south node in the 8th, let go of debts or owing people money. August is still a fairly slow month, specifically around relationships for you. On the 21st to the 23rd, Mars in your 7th house is opposing Neptune in your 1st house. Your partner might be fighting you because you're not being clear or defining boundaries. Then on the 23rd, Mercury stations retrograde in your Virgo 7th house, showing communication issues or rethinking what you're doing in this relationship. And on the 28th, Uranus stations retrograde in your Taurus 3rd house. You're rethinking some of the sudden communication or sudden writing project kind of developments that you've been having. September is when the pace picks back up, particularly in your health matters and in your relationship, because on the 3rd, Venus stations direct in your Leo 6th house, showing that you're moving forward with some values or implementing what really matters to you around physical health or coworkers. And on the 15th, Mercury retrograde is over and Mercury stations direct in your Virgo 7th house of relationships. So that area should become clearer and be moving forward more from the 15th of September onward. But in October, the breakthrough cycle really picks back up again, specifically around money and around your communication. So on the 10th, Pluto stations direct in your Capricorn 11th house. You're now moving forward with the final changes, adjustments, and transformation in regards to your friends or larger groups you're a part of. And on the 14th, there is a solar eclipse in your Libra 8th house. This is a catalyst event for a large new beginning to grow over the next 6 months around investments, loans, debts, or other people's money that you might be engaging with. From the 27th to the 30th, Mars in your 9th house will oppose Jupiter in your 3rd house. This looks like there could be some issues around travel or higher education because of what's required of you on a day-to-day basis, like just productivity-wise. With Mercury conjunct Mars in the 9th house, someone like a professor or another authority figure could be fighting with you because of all the priorities you have on a more day-to-day basis. And on the 28th, there is a lunar eclipse in your Taurus 3rd house, a major ending or letting go that will span over the next 6 months in regards to a communication or writing project that you are working on. November is a month of sudden changes, specifically in education or travel for you. There are many oppositions in these areas of your life which show conflict or chaos. So from the 2nd to the 3rd, the Sun in your 9th house opposes Jupiter in your 3rd house. There's a lot of growth of this writing project continuing, but with the focus on travel travel or education, that area of your life is demanding the energy be pulled away from that. From the 3rd to the 4th, Venus in your 7th house opposes Neptune in your 1st house. Your partner and the things that you're working on with your close partner could be a little bit confused or feeling like there's some inconsistency in value between you and them right now. It's not really clear how the relationship is going. On the 4th, Mercury in your 9th house will oppose Uranus in your 3rd house. This continues to show a discrepancy between what you're working on immediately and your travel or educational priorities that might be requiring some energy that you don't want to give. Then on the 4th, thankfully, Saturn stations direct in your Pisces 1st house. Saturn direct shows enforcing boundaries, maturity, responsibility, and confidence around what you represent and what your self-image is. From the 11th to the 18th, the Sun and Mars in your 9th house oppose Uranus in your 3rd house, continuing to show that there's a lot of priority on this travel or this educational path, but what you're doing on a day-to-day basis and being so busy with is leading to conflict there. And finally, on the 24th onward, Mars in your 10th house will score Saturn in your 1st house, so you may have some issues with a boss or issues at work because of boundaries and what you require. December starts out a little bit rocky, but does lead to an optimistic ending. So on the 13th, Mercury stations retrograde in your Capricorn 11th house. You might be more introverted or rethinking communicating with larger groups of people during this time. On the 23rd, Mercury retrograde will re-enter your Sagittarius 10th house of career. So this bleeds into rethinking your career path, having to go back and change some things or edit things professionally. But on the 30th, thankfully, Jupiter stations direct in your Taurus 3rd house, showing moving forward with some communication, writing, or productivity-based tasks to really expand as we lead into the next year. And thankfully, on January 1st, 2024, Mercury stations direct in your 10th house of career. So you're able to move forward with clear communication or values around that area of your life. Thoughts, predictions, or anything to say about what that already has coming for you, feel free to comment down below. Would love to hear from you and already your expectations or things you're looking forward to for this year. Now, the Work Your Light Oracle deck card that we have for Pisces Risings, which is the final video, final card, and my camera's overheating, so I have about 60 seconds to do this, will be get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. With Saturn in your 1st house, this is a no bullshit year of taking things seriously. Get grounded. There's a lot of amazing things happening for you, particularly financially 2nd half of the year and around writing or being heard with what you're creating and being productive around. Make sure that you're grounded, make sure that you're taking yourself seriously, and make sure that you're kind of adulting or really manning up around what you require. This was a helpful, informative guide to 2023. I put a lot of heart and soul into prepping for these, much more than normal, because I wanted these to be very important as the marinara sauce matures. It gets baked into the pizza, whatever. If you're new here, okay. I hope that this was, as I said, helpful and informative, and if you have any comments, I would always love to see them down below. I do scan through everything, and mostly I respond to what I can in the moment, really recognize and see, but I do see almost everything, if not everything. I think I see everything, you know? Ping me multiple times if you really have an emergency. If not, like, I have a lot. I will see you in the next one.